Did a baby owl actually attack my camera? Well, yes it did. But wait a sec. You might be asking yourself, how did things get to this point? Well, to find out, come with us on our journey to find and photograph the burrowing owl and see how a simple one-day trip turned into something we weren't expecting. And stay till the end and I'll show you 2 different ways we were able to get photographs of these owls without disturbing them. Stay tuned. Our burrowing owl adventure started a few years back after Sandy and I watched a video of a burrowing owl on TV. In that video, the burrowing owl was in front of the camera and tilted its head to the side in curiosity. This adorable little owl inspired us to research and see if there were burrowing owls where we live in Idaho. To our surprise, we learned these owls migrated to the Morley Snake River Birds of Prey Conservation Area just south of where we live in Boise, Idaho. These owls come here each year and arrive sometime around the end of March. Through further research, we learned these owls would utilize abandoned badger burrows, like the one pictured here. The owls live and raise their young owlets using the burrow for their nesting site. The areas where the highest density of these badger burrows exist are within this conservation area. So we loaded up our camera gear and set out to locate and photograph the burrowing owls. Sandy and I were both excited with anticipation of seeing these little owls in person and being able to snap some photos and share with friends and family. But when we arrived in the area, we were reminded of how vast the Birds of Prey conservation area actually was. This particular conservation area stretches 81 miles, or 130 kilometers. It consists of nearly 485,000 acres and stretches from Boise to Hammett, Idaho, southwest of Interstate 84. Looking out of the car, we were faced with an ocean of sagebrush which stretched for miles in all directions. It's an arid desert landscape that consists of rock and sandy soil with tumbleweeds and a diverse variety of raptors and ground-bearing animals. This high desert location is a harsh environment reaching very hot temperatures in the summer and very cold to freezing temperatures in the winter. It gets very windy at times, and so the burrows chosen by these owls are essential to their survival for shelter from both weather and predators. So, as it turned out, it wasn't going to be as easy as we thought. Where do we start? And where are the owls? With such a vast open area and thousands upon thousands of badger burrows, it'll be kind of like finding a needle in a haystack. So we drove around the area looking for these owls, and at the end of the first day, no luck. We did see some of the other wildlife, like ground squirrels, red-tailed hawks, ravens, curlews, and other predators like the American badger. Well, it was a fun thought anyways. At least Idaho has some gorgeous sunsets to enjoy. At the end of the day, it became obvious we would have to do a little more research on the owls. So on the next outing, after some further research, we took a new approach and returned to the conservation area. We slowed down and looked a little closer with binoculars when Sandy suddenly spotted one out in the field. At first, this is about as close as we could get for a photo since these little guys are a bit cautious. After that, we were able to spot several more owls. The problem is you couldn't get close enough to take a good detailed photo due to them being perched on a fence off in the distance, or ducking into a burrow or flying away. So we decided to go to a burrow that had been claimed by the owls. Here's the burrow we chose. Notice there's pieces of cow dung placed around the mound in front of the burrow. The owls do this to attract dung beetles to the mound as it's one of their main sources of food. So we set off at a distance from the burrow with our telephoto lenses to see if the owls would return to the burrow so we could photograph them. It worked. The male owl returned and landed on the mound in front of the burrow, and the female emerged from within the burrow. So we were able to photograph them as long as we remained still and didn't try to get too close. Little did we know, this particular encounter was a very rare occurrence. On another day, we were able to get some courtship and mating photos at golden hour. This was such an exciting experience. Here are some of those images. Sandy and I were very happy to have gotten these photos and had fun sorting through them on the computer, revisiting the moments while out photographing them. But the problem was we hadn't yet seen the baby burrowing owls, which was our original goal. We've seen and photographed the adult owls, but how are we going to photograph the baby owls? Surely the tactics that worked for photographing the adult owls certainly wouldn't work for getting photos of the baby owls. The adult owls are vigilant and call out any signs of danger in the area, alerting the owlets to run and hide. We tried laying out in the ground with our long lenses from a far distance in our ghillie suits. We were spotted immediately by the adult owl, who started making warning noises, possibly to keep the owlets in the burrow. That is, if the owlets had even hatched yet. We also tried taking photos from the car, and they were a little less skittish, but the approach wasn't going to work for seeing the owlets. So, nothing we did was successful in seeing the baby owls. So we had to come up with a new plan. And the plan was the GoPro camera. We came up with this plan initially just to see if the baby owls would emerge from the burrow to see if they were actually there. But will this plan work? Well, this was the last hope of seeing the baby owls. So we set up the GoPro near the entrance of this burrow and drove away from the area for about 40 minutes, which was about the life of the GoPro battery when shooting 4K. After the 40 minutes was up, we returned and retrieved the camera. Did it capture anything, or was it all just a waste of time? What we discovered with the GoPro camera was nothing short of amazing. We discovered this male and female burrowing owl occupying the burrow were actually in the midst of their courtship and mating phase. We could see these owls were a little unsure of the camera at first, but noticed they became aware the camera was an inanimate object pretty quickly. Here they're seen preening with little to no concern for the camera. Later, we found that camouflaging the camera to match the environment causes even less concern. And it didn't take long for them to get back into their natural task at hand. Well, this confirmed we wouldn't be seeing baby owlets for a while, but these owls were working on it. So we chose to stay away from this area for a while after this recording in order not to disturb their progress. Here's some more courting activity that was caught on the camera that day. Here, the male owl is seen flying by to catch a bug out of the air. The eyesight, precision, and agility of catching that bug in the air is amazing. He presents the bug to her, but apparently she's not interested at the moment. The bug he caught was a dung beetle. There's plenty of dung beetles in this area due to the large cattle ranches that operate here. So he decides to go ahead and eat this one. Here you can see her duck into the entrance of the burrow and start kicking dirt out, preparing the burrow for nesting. And then it's time to catch another dung beetle. He presents the beetle, but she's not coming out to get it. So he decides to eat this one too. Okay, let's try this one more time. She's waiting at the entrance. Maybe she's hungry now. Ah, finally she takes the beetle. Nope, that one's not going to work. Well, maybe if he goes and gets another one. He offers her another beetle as the first one's making its escape. Will she take this one? No sense letting it go to waste. Let's try that first beetle again. Nope, I've got work to do. Oh hey, here she comes again. He presents it to her, but she's still not interested. So while these two owls are doing their thing, we completed more research. We learned that burrowing owls incubate their eggs for 28 to 30 days. With this knowledge, we mapped out the timeline for the incubation of the eggs, plus the estimated time for the owlets to become mature enough to emerge from the burrow. After that time period elapsed, we returned to the nesting site to place the GoPro and see if the baby owls would emerge from the burrow. Well, here we go. Are there any owlets yet? Then the moment we dreamed of finally happened. And one by one, the little ones emerged from the burrow. Well, it looks like our timeline was right on the money. This is the mother owl, as you can see by her disheveled look from confinement in the burrow with the owlets and the brood patch on her belly. I'll bet she's happy to finally be able to get out of that burrow for a bit. Oh, and there's one more. 5 owlets. At first, these little guys will hang around close to the burrow entrance. Their curiosity of the outside world is natural to them. Now that's one adorable little feathered flock. Looks like these little guys are getting around pretty good already. Looks like they've already learned to stay alert. Mama brought a nice juicy grasshopper. These little guys look curious. The reason the burrowing owls tilt their heads back and forth and bob up and down is to calculate the distance and location of an object. This is sort of a triangulation that establishes a composite picture of its surroundings due to their anatomical limitations. Their eyes are in a fixed position and don't move around freely like human eyes. In other words, to look up and down or side to side, they have to move their heads in each direction to see. It's a good thing their necks are flexible. They can rotate their heads up to 270 degrees. That's amazing. It didn't take long before curiosity got the better of them and they had to check things out. They frequently took an interest in my GoPro and practiced their defensive strategies on it. They would lose interest pretty quick though. And then it was time to move on to the cow patties. Then it's feeding time. The quickest bird gets the meal. In this case, it's a juicy grasshopper. Grasshoppers are a suitable choice for the owlets because they're able to digest them easier than dung beetles. It's amazing that the parent owls recognize this fact. This little guy is ready for action. He'll be flying in no time if he keeps that up. As you can see here, it doesn't take long before they're venturing out and exploring the area. Their childlike curiosity is what teaches them about their surroundings and how to maneuver in it. Staying alert to what's happening around them is essential to their survival. And the parent owls will teach them of the dangers along the way so they're ready for the real world once they fledge. And once again, the quickest bird gets the meal. This little guy's the star of the thumbnail for this video. You can see why I had to modify a spike to anchor this GoPro into the dirt. More hunting and pouncing practice and exercise for the wings. The parent owls have to constantly be vigilant of their surroundings to protect the owlets. It's a desperate dash to the burrow for the little ones. Both parent owls are on duty here. But what can be spooking them to that degree? That's obviously a distress call warning the owlets to stay down. A red-tailed hawk. That explains things. Still a little skittish. That chirping sound they're making is a standard communication sound between the owls. The coast is clear, but it might take a juicy grasshopper to coax the little ones out of the burrow after that scare. There's also this sandpaper scraping noise they're making. Research told me that it was a defensive noise when they felt threatened. After observing these owls for a while, this noise appears to be a cautionary sound between the owls, rather than an immediate threat alert. And it's back to eating grasshoppers. The owls usually detach the hind legs of the grasshoppers, presumably because it makes it easier to swallow. These parent owls are seriously dedicated to the owlet's survival, bringing them grasshopper after grasshopper. This little guy got one leg off, but not the other. Oh well, down the hatch. Here, Mama Owl removes the hind legs of the grasshopper. It's not always that easy, though. Sometimes it's a battle of the fittest. And sometimes Mama Owl keeps one to herself. That's right, Papa, you heard me. So let's see which owl has the best head tilt. Looks like we have a clear winner here, but then again, they're all adorable. This was such a rewarding experience that was originally only meant to be a one-day outing that turned into more than 3 years of observing these amazing birds. So, what did we learn along our journey observing these little guys? We learned that the male burrowing owls arrive in the area around the end of March. They claim a nesting site by standing tall at the entrance of the chosen burrow. They await the arrival of the female burrowing owls to the area and attract them by preparing the nesting site. And they display their presence by making noise. Once they're paired up with the female, they start feeding and courting the female up until the point where they breed and the female lays the eggs. The male continues to feed the female throughout the incubation period. This is a very rigorous task for the male owl, as it requires laser precision while catching bugs and incredible stamina due to the high heat temperatures in the desert and limited to no water supply. Burrowing owls are crepuscular, which means they're active during dusk and dawn. The exception during breeding season is the male owl will hunt during the daytime more to feed the female in a courtship gesture and while she's tending to their subterranean nest. Burrowing owls live in a very delicate and dangerous ecosystem. They have to accomplish all this while constantly watching out for predators, to which there are many. Ironically, one of the most dangerous predators to the burrowing owl in this area is the one who inadvertently provides their shelter. After this experience, we've gained a high level of respect for these little feathered warriors. I believe if people were aware of these burrowing owls and the tough life they would have more of an appreciation for the species and hopefully advocate for conservation of their habitat for the future. We plan to look into volunteering in our area to help these owls that migrate to Idaho. The artificial burrow is one of the best ways to help protect these owls from predators due to their limited accessibility. This graphic shows the most popular artificial burrow design. It uses the length of corrugated drain pipe, which is connected to an irrigation valve box, which is buried underground, creating a chamber for the owls to nest in. The diameter of the drain pipe is too small for the badger, or most of the other predators, making it an ideal design. Hopefully this video will foster an appreciation for this incredible species of owl. They are truly amazing birds and deserve to be the subject of conservation so people can enjoy them for generations to come. So I promised to tell you how we were able to get footage and photos for this video without disturbing the owls. What we learned throughout this adventure were two main ways to observe and photograph these owls with minimal disturbance to their daily routines or nesting locations and activities. One is to stay in the car. Photograph the owls with the longest lens available to you. The second way is to place a small GoPro type action camera near the entrance of the hole of the burrow on the mound, preferably out of the owl's way and not blocking the entrance. With the GoPro, they're a little suspicious of the camera at first, but they quickly realize it's an inanimate object and get back to their normal behavior, ignoring the camera. We affixed our GoPro with a spike so it would stick into the dirt in the case where the owls may kick it, as we saw the owlet do at the start of this video. It also helps to have a camouflage pattern on your GoPro so it doesn't stand out too much. Another thing to consider while placing the GoPro is not to leave too much of your scent, which may attract predators. Well, I hope you enjoyed watching our adventure with the burrowing owls as much as we enjoyed visiting them in the wild. Also, if you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button and consider subscribing. And please share this video with somebody you think might like it. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you in the next one. See ya!